we are coast to coast. Butter to butter on TuneIn, iTunes, and Radio Loyalty. Stitcher, and our brand new Jiggy Jaguar app available in the App Store. JiggyJaguar.us. You can stream the show live 24/7 replay, exclusive news and programming information. iHeartRadio Today and AM/FM 247.com. We are going to get back to our guest here in just a few moments. He is fantastic, and we are going to chat about that great book here in just a few moments. But let's tell you about one of our fantastic new marketing partners at Transmedia Worldwide. This is an amazing brand new marketing partner, Veteran Farm Equipment. Veteran Farmers Group, life after military service. Go over to fundly.com/veteran-farm-equipment. That is fundly.com/veterans-farm-equipment. It is a fantastic new marketing partner with us today here on Transmedia Worldwide. These folks are doing some amazing, amazing work. Check it out today. They're raising money to help military veterans start a life after military service in farming. They need funds to assist veterans who cannot afford to pay for farming education, training, equipment, and down payment on land and used equipment. Check out fundly.com/veteran-farm-equipment. And we'll spell it for you, fundly.com/veteran-farm-equipment. And tell him you heard about it here, Transmedia Worldwide. Let's get back to our guest. He joins us live here on the telephone. Now, Rocky, this book you've gotten here, you're a business leadership expert. You've written a lot of books. Tell us a little bit about how this book compares to some of the other books you've written in the past, my friend.
Well, this is actually my first book, but I'm working on book number 2. But I've written a lot of articles for magazines.
Yeah. That's what I meant. A lot of writing that you've done.
Yes. Which helped me kind of when I kind of combined this and put it all together. It kind of just flowed from all the different experiences. For me, though, the book had to be something that you kind of put it down and had that aha moment. Because like you and I both have read a lot of books, different types of books, and they're good, but, I wanted something that could move you. I wanted something that you could smile and have a little bit of fun, right? Life is difficult enough. And so for me, the goal was to, educate and entertain and kind of motivate you a little bit. And so that was really the goal here. Hey, I didn't want to write a book that, at the end of it was, it was a good book, but it was like torture to get through. One of those things.
That's awesome.
So I made sure that, and I have an attention span problem myself. So the stories are strategically placed. When I was starting to get bored of myself, I'm like, well, come on, right? At some point, let's go here. What's going to happen next show? So I kind of wrote it with the thought process that let's have some fun, but let's educate, because that to me is so important. That every day you kind of have that moment where you look at things a little bit different. So that was really the goal of the book, a fun read, but a book that you can put down and say, something, I learned something about myself, and I learned something about me as a person and as a leader, because like I said, we're all leaders.
We've got a great guest with us today. He joins us live. He's the author of Tighten the Lug Nuts, The Principles of Balanced Leadership, and Rocky Romanella with us today here in our broadcast. He's the founder and principal of 360 Management Services, LLC. Former president of UPS, former CEO, director of UniTek Global Services. Now, how did your past life as being the former president of UPS, how has that prepared you to do some of the different things, and especially with this book?
Well, I'll tell you, that was a wonderful moment, but it really was getting there. That was the journey was the best part. I started out, I'll probably give away my age here a little bit, but who cares? I started out June 15th, 1976, unloading trailers in Edison, New Jersey. Part-time guy working my way through college, with no idea I'd stay at UPS all those years. And UPS had a promotion from within policy, and so I took advantage of it. My dad, rest his soul, told me 2 things, James, when I started my job. He said, learn your job and learn some more, and whatever they ask you to do, say yes and thank you. And so as I was, kind of growing, working my way through college, it gave me a chance to pay my way through school at UPS part-time. every time there was an opportunity and somebody said, "Hey, we think you're ready for this next move," maybe I wasn't ready or maybe I was nervous, but all I could hear my dad over my shoulder saying, "Hey, whatever they ask you to do, say yes and thank you." So, okay, I'm in. Let's go. And so we kind of worked our way up through the organization. And for me, that was the best part. It was the journey. It was meeting some wonderful people. It was being a UPS delivery driver. I loved doing it. When we purchased mailboxes, et cetera, I had the opportunity to run that as a business unit. That was a direct report to me. I met some of the finest entrepreneurs in the world. UPS store is 100% franchisee owned. Meet some of the greatest small business owners, and they took that opportunity to teach me about being a small business owner. And a guy working in a large company like UPS, but they took the time to teach me. They showed me what it was, it was like to start your own business. And I thought to myself, we have P&L responsibilities in companies. Nobody has the understanding of P&L like a small business owner, because for them, the profit and loss is you open the cash register at night, you pay your people, you pay your vendors. What's left in that cash register is what you take home for your family. That's the ultimate all-in. That's the ultimate commitment, and I learned those things. So for me, it was that journey of learning and meeting different people and taking a step back and saying, wow, there's a lot of people doing some wonderful things out there that I can learn from. And so the book is kind of that journey of the 40 years and the people I met along the way and the lessons that I learned and the impact they had on me. And so, I always felt like I was the recipient of some wonderful people who engaged with me.
Now, being the former president of UPS and everything, there's been a lot of talk the last several years that a lot of people think that UPS should take over the United States Postal Service because of the way that it has so many expenses and is run so poorly. Do you think that UPS should try to make a big push for that, or should it just be a situation of, no, we don't want to get into that problem?
Well, this is an editorial. It doesn't necessarily represent the view of the station.
Yeah.
But no, actually, this is a rocky moment. In my opinion, the post office should stick to delivering mail, which was its original charter, and they would do a very good job at it. They shouldn't be in parcels, and they shouldn't be, because that should be left to the FedEx of the world, UPS, the DHL, and other companies. And so I think the problem is do what you do best. And when Ben Franklin started the post office, he started it with delivering mail. And I would think the post office would be much better off if they just focused in on mail, let companies like UPS, FedEx do the parcels, and then that would give you competition then, right? Because then you'd have UPS, FedEx, DHL, and other smaller carriers competing against each other. And listen, we're seeing it now. We're seeing it now. Free enterprise is the engine of this country. Look at Amazon just recently announced a $15 an hour minimum. Well, you didn't have to mandate through a law. It's because free enterprise, the growth in the economy today, people are looking for workers. The minimum wage went to $15 an hour at Amazon. What's going to happen is if other people want to hire people, they're going to have to raise their wages as well. Let free enterprise set the tone and establish the good things in the country. You don't need legislation to say it's the minimum wage. Well, it's the same thing. You don't need the government in delivery of packages. Let them do the mail. They have that monopoly. Just go do a good job at it, please.
We've got a great guest with us today. He joins us live here on a broadcast. Now, Rocky, getting back to your book here, you put a lot of time and effort into this. Talk to me about your particular writing style.
So my writing style is very conversational. It's very much like you and I are talking. And the one thing I didn't want to do is be preachy, right? Because sometimes you read a book and people are almost kind of preaching to you, and you feel like you're back in Catholic school again. You're looking at your feet and waiting for somebody to yell at you. So I didn't want to write a preachy book. I wanted to write a conversational book, and I never liked saying I would do this or I think you should do that.
Yeah.
And that's why it's written in the third person. This gentleman named Joe Scafone, who I kind of created some years ago, as we talked before the break, and it allowed me then to have that kind of conversation without being preachy, without using the I word. So I could always say, well, Joe thinks this is a good idea, or Joe thought that was a good idea, and that kind of allowed me
That's awesome.
to do that. So yeah. So it was fun for me to write, and I got to tell you, the nicest part has been some of the comments I've received back from, it's a 5-star Amazon right now, which is wonderful. That's just humbling. But the best is I'll get an email from someone who'll say to me, hey, I read the book, I really enjoyed it, found some wonderful things in there. However, the best thing was I thought of my dad as well, or I thought of my mom, or I thought of someone who has since passed. And I thought about, they had a bigger influence in my life than I realized. Or you talk a lot about your wife and some of the things that you talk about Debbie in the book and some of the things that you and her experienced. I kind of thought about my husband or my significant other or my wife, and I think, wow, they're a much bigger influence than I gave them credit for. That, to me, is the best part of the book, that people take inventory of how wonderful it is to have these wonderful people in their life.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, Rocky, I appreciate you making time for us today. Thanks for coming on the big program. Thank you, my friend.
It's an honor. And listen, to you and your audience, have a safe and happy Thanksgiving.